Still Road, Ackland North. This February, Bob Jane T-Marts have great buy 3, get 1 free plus instant cashback deals. With 15 stores located in Adelaide, they'll look after you. T's and C's apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast: sunny this afternoon, 26, cloudy tomorrow, 22, Thursday a shower or two, a top of 20, and Friday a top of 19. Right now it's 23 degrees. Now let's hear what's happening on 9 News Tonight.
On 9 News Tonight, a dire interest rates forecast. Another 4 rises on the way. What you might have to fork out. Euthanasia legal in South Australia from today. Mushroom magic in Adelaide's north. See the huge operation that's growing jobs. Plus, real ways to slash your household bills immediately. I'm Kate Collins. See the full story on 9 News Tonight at 6.
Jade Robran on 1395, Adelaide's 5AA.
Riding along in my automobile, my baby beside me at the wheel. I stole a kiss at the turn of a mile, my curiosity running wild.
Welcome to the Car Show. Great to have your company. If you'd like to join in, 8223 0000. It is a good afternoon to Scott Colley from carexpert.com.au. Scott, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Jade.
Great to have you on the program. Let's kick things off with General Motors. They're investing big bucks to keep the V8 dreams alive, which will be music to the ears of many, many fans out there.
Absolutely. It feels like every time we talk to you and talk to other media, it's about the fact that petrol engines are dying and everything's going electric. But GM has committed to investing 1.2 billion Australian dollars into building a new 6th-generation V8 engine. It's going to be built in Michigan, and when it comes into service, it's going to feature in trucks and SUVs, and we kind of have a suspicion probably sports cars as well. So even though it's committed to going electric by 2035, it seems like right up to that deadline, you're going to be able to get yourself a V8 with a Chevy or a GMC badge on the nose of it.
Are sales still quite high for V8s?
They are. What we're seeing in Australia in particular is that electric vehicle sales are growing really quickly, but at the other end of the market, people are snapping up big trucks like the Chevy Silverado and the Ram 1500, and they are generally powered by V8s. The other thing we're seeing is that Australians really love performance cars. So even though you can't get a Commodore SS or a Falcon XR8 anymore, we're one of the biggest markets in the world for Volkswagen's sporty R brand, for Mercedes-AMG, for BMW's sporty M brand, because even though we don't have many local options, we still kind of have a taste for those really powerful, fast cars. I think the other thing is people are realising that time is kind of running out. The fact GM's committed to the V8 is awesome, but it's kind of unique on that front. Audi's committed to not developing any new engines beyond 2026, and Hyundai kind of shut down a lot of its engine development at the end of 2021. So for GM to pour this much money into a brand new V8 is quite unique, and I think the people who do like big and noisy sports cars are aware of that fact and are trying to snap them up while they still can.
We've just got a listener who's messaged in saying, is the upcoming Nissan Navara, is that a V8?
So the upcoming Nissan Navara we're expecting won't be a V8. What we are expecting from the Navara is another 4-cylinder diesel, which is what you get in pretty much all the utes in Australia at the moment. We're also expecting it to potentially feature a plug-in hybrid, which will give you theoretically between 50 and 100 kilometres of electric range, and then we'll have another engine that can take you a lot further if the battery goes flat. But unfortunately, I'd be very, very surprised to see a V8 with a new Navara.
Can you tell us about the Lexus, their EV? They're looking at a new approach to heating.
Yeah, it sounds like a really basic thing that we take for granted, but heating cars is actually really difficult when you go electric.
Okay.
The heater in most of the cars that are on sale today kind of steals heat from the engine. So when you turn it on, it kind of grabs the heat that the engine's creating and starts feeding it, filtering it, and then feeding it into the cabin. In an electric car, that's really difficult because there's no engine creating heat. So the car needs to burn through a lot of power to actually heat the air up and then pump it into the cabin. And in a world where batteries limit how far you can go, that's kind of a worry. So one of the things a lot of car makers have done is put heated seats in their electric cars, but Lexus has gone a step further and it's using what it's called heating panels. Essentially, it's designed to shoot air directly at your legs, and Lexus is comparing it to, and let me know if this makes you feel a bit uncomfortable, the thought of driving with this going on, but it compares it to a warm blanket wrapped around your legs.
Okay, that's toasty. That would make me want to fall asleep. That's probably dangerous.
I had exactly the same thought. As much as I love the idea of, working at home on a cold day wrapped up in blankets with a hot water bottle on or something, I don't know that I want one when I'm driving.
No. Weird.
But yeah, the next gen Lexus RZ, which is Lexus's big electric SUV, is going to debut that system, and it's something we can expect to see rolling out across Lexus and Toyota electric cars going forward.
I actually hate hot air being blown in your face or anywhere when you're driving, full stop.
Interesting. I'm kind of the opposite. On a cold day, I want just what feels like the hottest air on earth blowing directly on my hands and face until I kind of warm up.
Oh, see, I've got what do I drive? A VW Touareg or whatever, one of those. And with VWs, it's custom to have the warm, the seat heaters, and they're the best. That's all I need. A warm tushy.
Seat heaters, yeah, especially in South Australia, and I'm in Victoria, and in winter it gets really cold in the morning. So there is nothing better than getting in, turning the car on and pressing that button, and VW ones are generally pretty good. They warm you up pretty quickly.
We've got Dwayne who's messaged in saying, "Hi Jade, could you please ask Scott his opinion on Volkswagen T-Roc R and the Tiguan R versus Audi SQ2?
That's a really good question, Dwayne. The T-Roc R is very similar to the SQ2, but feels a little bit more aggressive again. It's quite a small car, not a heap of space in the back, not a heap of space in the boot. I personally prefer it to the SQ2 just because it feels a bit more modern. The Tiguan R is a size bigger than both of them. If you want to carry kids around and all their luggage, of the three, it's definitely the one that I would recommend. I also quite like the way the Tiguan R looks. I think it looks really kind of grown up and a bit of a sleeper. People don't necessarily know it's fast until you disappear off into the distance. So if it's something a bit smaller you want, I think the T-Roc R is probably the pick of the two. If it's something a bit bigger you need, the Tiguan R is the one that I'd be looking at. But the three of those are great fun. You can't really go wrong whichever way you go.
If you would like to ask a question like Dwayne just did, call in 8223 0000. Maybe you're thinking of buying a new car, selling one, looking at a second hand or an EV, hybrid, classic, anything at all. We'd love you to join the car show. 8223 0000. We've got another question here. I am looking at buying an MG3 or a Toyota Corolla. This would be my first car. Which would you choose?
That's a very good question. It's one we get quite a lot at the moment because the MG3 is really cheap. Cars are getting more expensive and the MG3 still sneaks in under $20,000 and it looks good and it's got plenty of tech inside. Look, of the two of them, the Corolla is definitely the better car. And if it's your first car, the other thing I would point out is that the Corolla is a safer car. It has a 5-star safety rating, and the MG3 hasn't been crash tested recently. And when it was crash tested early in the 2010s, it didn't perform as a standout for the car. It was fine, but it wasn't at the top of the list back then. So if all you can afford is an MG3 and you want a new car, it's absolutely going to serve you fine. But if you can stretch the Corolla, it's nicer to drive and it's going to be a safer, higher tech car that will last you longer.
Mary's written in and she said she's sick of waiting for the new Toyota RAV4, so she wants to ask you, is it worth looking at a Toyota Camry?
Mary, I think more people should be looking at the Camry. As much as the RAV4 is a really good-looking car and it's got lots of space inside, the Camry is absolutely massive. It's got a big boot, big back seat, and to drive it feels quite similar to the RAV4 because it's got the same hybrid system. So if you don't want to sit higher or if you're comfortable letting that go, you absolutely should have a look at a Camry, and you might even find that the top spec Camry is pretty good value relative to the RAV4 as well.
All right, John wants to know, could you please ask Scott what he thinks of the GMW Tank 300, looking for something different at an affordable price?
Yeah, John, I actually got a very quick drive of the Tank 300 last week, and I was pretty impressed. We only got to drive it at very low speed off-road, so we're going to have to wait a little bit longer to know what it's like to live with. But I think it looks fantastic in person. I think it's a really good size, and for the money, the tech you get inside looks quite good as well. If you're planning to do some off-roading, it's got a whole lot of stuff in there that you kind of can't get in anything else the same size. It's a bit smaller than a Ford Everest or similar. So, yeah, definitely worth a look. The only question mark we have is if you are planning to take it off-road, GWM doesn't have the same reputation that Toyota does and the same years of experience in Australia. So time will tell on that front, but based on our very quick taste of it, it's absolutely worth a look.
A car called a Tank 300 isn't going to be a little Beetle, is it? So talk to me, how big is this machine?
It's a great name, isn't it, the Tank 300?
Love it.
So it's actually, it's a bit of a strange size, similar sort of size to a RAV4, maybe slightly bigger, but underneath it's got a proper four-wheel drive chassis on it. It's sort of aimed at people who maybe want a Jeep Wrangler but don't want to spend $90,000 on the car. And it also comes with hybrid power, which is something that more and more people want in 2023, but is really hard to get in an off-roader. I think it looks awesome in person. It's got sort of an upright Jeep-like front end, and it's got the side-hinged back tailgate like a Mercedes G-Wagon. It kind of ticks a lot of boxes.
We have Tony who's emailed in. Hello. As I hold on to cars for a while, I am looking at a Kia with the 7-year warranty. Considering the new Sorento or Cerato, is this Sports Plus the best value for money in the range as far as features v cost, or would you suggest another?
Both of those models have slightly different equipment lists, but as a general rule, Sport Plus, or I think it's called SX Plus in some other models, is a really good mix of value and of equipment. In the case of the Sorento, what I would recommend is looking around that Sport Plus level, because most of the stuff you get in the top-end model, the GT line, is nice to have, but it's not essential. And in the Cerato, the top spec model comes with a more powerful engine, but it's not necessarily all that much better to drive day to day, and it's going to use more fuel. So around that Sport Plus model is definitely a good place to be looking. The other thing you need to work out with the Sorento in particular is whether you want the V6 petrol or the diesel. I personally think the diesel is a fantastic engine, and it's nice and comfy and quiet on the highway, but yeah, regardless of which way you go, Sport Plus is worth a look.
How's this? So Caroline just messaged and she said, Jade, I've ordered my Camry Sports Hybrid. I've got an 18-month wait.
It's incredible, isn't it, that after all these years where I know Paul has been talking to you about wait times, we've still got cars out to 18 months.
Yeah.
Look, Toyota has committed to pumping out more cars this year as it aims to build its way through this backlog of orders. But unfortunately, maybe fortunately, people really want hybrid cars, and Toyota is massive in Australia. So it's just a combination of lots of people wanting the cars and Toyota being hit by COVID and factory shutdown and parts shortages. If you aren't keen to wait for your Camry hybrid, it may be worth looking at something like a Honda Accord hybrid. It's a bit more expensive, but it also is a little bit different to a Camry. You're going to stand out a bit more. Otherwise, unfortunately, there's no real way to skip the queue unless you're willing to pay way over the offing, and we don't really recommend people do that, because at some point the market's going to come back to normal.
That is crazy. I would not be waiting 18 months. I'd be sick of it by then. Let's talk to Trevor in Hyde Park. Hey, Trevor.
Hi, how are you going?
Good,
like your program?
Thank you.
I have a question. I've got a MROC Highline 2019, which I've been waiting for nearly 12 months, and the new one's arrived. I was wondering whether you could give me an idea of the resale price of that to sell, please.
So, look, resale is a little bit tricky at the moment because the market's just doing all sorts of weird stuff. Have you driven the car much at all, or has it not yet arrived?
Yes. No, I'm looking to sell the old car, which the new one's here now. So it's a Amarok Highline 2019, which has been driven on freeway from Adelaide to Port Elliot on a regular basis. It's got about 140-something Ks on it. It's been serviced by Solitaire, new brakes, tyres, and it's been well looked after. It hasn't been off-road, so I was wondering whether you could give me an idea of what I could sell it for.
Yes, so I'm looking at, we use a sort of industry price guide online to get an idea of this stuff, and I've got a 2018 Highline with between 100 and 150,000 Ks. It's got a price range of between $35,000 and $46,000. if the car's in really good nick and you're confident that it's being looked after, I would look around the top end of that range and just see what other people are listing their Highlines for. I would imagine around the $45,000 mark there'll be a few. But you might as well ask at the top end and see what other stuff is listed for on car sales.
Yes.
And
you put it through car sales, would you? You go through car sales?
If you're selling something secondhand, it's the biggest marketplace. There are other sites out there as well, and I'd recommend listing the car pretty much everywhere. It doesn't cost you anything to post it on Facebook Marketplace. It doesn't cost you anything to post it on Gumtree necessarily. You do need to pay for car sales, but you might as well give yourself the best possible chance.
Yeah. I know it's been well looked after. It's driven daily, from Adelaide to Port Eyre and back again, and so it's been well looked after, well serviced. And my understanding is those models are no longer made. Amarok's being made now in South Africa using Ford Ranger as the manufacturer. Is that correct?
It is, yeah. So the new one is being built on the same chassis as the Ranger, and Volkswagen's building in South Africa. Yes.
Yeah, this is... I ordered my Amarok new one March last year. It's only arrived yesterday, basically. So.
Oh, wow.
And so there is a waiting list. And I'm not so sure that people want to buy an Amarok with a Ford Ranger base. I don't know what thoughts are on that.
I think at the moment the Ranger is so popular and it's been so well received. If the Ranger had kind of landed to a middling reception, I think people would have been worried. But I think the Amarok name carries a lot of weight, and the Ranger is so well known and has been really positively reviewed. I don't think Volkswagen's going to struggle to sell the car. I do also think, though, there's going to be plenty of people like you who owned the old Amarok, and they're going to hop in the new one. It's just not quite going to feel the same. So I think VW may lose a few people because, the new one's going to feel a bit different given it's been developed with Ford, but ultimately the Ranger has such a good reputation at the moment. I think VW's going to be okay.
Trevor, thank you so much for ringing in, and if you'd like to call in, 8223 0000. We're going to take a short break. Back soon.
Rowey and Timmy G on the 5AA Sports Show.
So a new strategic plan. I want to be above Port Adelaide on the ladder, on and off the field, in every measure. Membership, sponsorship, dollars, debt. I want to say you guys are crap and we're the best. And you can't even argue with us. I want to be that bloody good.
Rowey and Timmy G.
I would just say that's an incredibly narrow focus.
Okay.
It is. And we're in an 18-team comp. You shouldn't be that narrow. Well, I wouldn't be doing the reverse.
4 p.m. weekdays on 5AA.
When shopping around for hearing aids, the main sound you'll hear is... But not at Specsavers, where you don't have to pay top dollar for top-of-the-range hearing aids. Just book a free 15-minute hearing check at specsavers.com.au/hearing. Then maybe you could use those savings to hear something more pleasant like... Should have gone to Specsavers. Conditions apply.
Here's what you missed on Dreamscapes. Deep in the jungle, you discover a tower built entirely of toffee, surrounded by a cappuccino moat. The Queen of Ants arrives on a marshmallow boat, ready to negotiate trade sanctions on your mine of sugarific gold. And is that chocolate yacht for you? What dreamscapes are you missing? If you're not sleeping, talk to Respirico Scooter World about an in-home sleep apnea assessment. Visit Respirico Scooter World for all your sleep, respiratory and mobility needs.
Need it fixed? Fitted? Need it flushed, replaced, built, tiled, cleaned? Give Ken a call. Ken Hall Plumbers, your local plumbers since 1983. For plumbing, gas fitting, roofing and hot water. Give Ken a call. 8364 5855.
Hello, I'm Lynn Andrews. For over 50 years, we have specialised in commercial and residential property management. But above all, we specialise in people, helping to make life easy for property investors and the tenants of their properties. Everyone is treated with integrity and respect. That's the Lynn Andrews way. For commercial and residential property management, we are here to help. Visit lynandrews.com.au.
If you need a window, and not just anything will do, just call Statesman Windows. Factory direct to you.
Nobody beats Statesman Windows, not on quality and certainly not on service. Windows, sliding doors, bifolds and more, made right here in Adelaide, factory direct to you. For windows when and where you want them, call Statesman Windows, states.com.au.
where you want them. Oh, window sweater where you want them.
Phil Hoffman of Phil Hoffman Travel.
Well, it's my name on the door, and so at the end of the day, if someone needs something, I'm there to make sure that it happens. Really, we are the architects of anyone's travel. There's no need to sift through the internet and get confused. We have 10 convenient locations through South Australia, plus a great website and online service, but qualified staff to look after you all the time. And also, when anything happens, we're there with a 24/7 backup. The internet is not, and it's our personal touch to give you that all the time.
Visit pht.com.au.
Ranella Mazda 2022 plate clearance is on now. Incredible deals across the entire range, and vehicles in stock ready for immediate delivery. Get in quick and don't miss the 2022 plate clearance, only at Ranella Mazda.
LBD 322-736.
Jade Robran, talking Adelaide on 1395 5AA.
Welcome back to Afternoons. It is 26 minutes past 3 o'clock on this Tuesday afternoon. We're talking cars with Scott Colley from carexpert.com.au, and we've got Bob in Rosewater on the line. Bob, go ahead.
How you going, Scott?
Good, thanks, Bob. How are you?
Not too bad, mate. Look, I'm 80 years of age and I have a 2011 VE Commodore. It's done 300,000 and mechanically and appearance I'd give it 8 out of 10. That's my estimate anyway.
Okay.
Have you any idea of what value it would bring?
Which Commodore is it specifically? Is it one of the V8s or is it a V6?
No, it's a V6 and it's a Barina.
Okay. So, look, there's a lot of demand.
Sorry. Yeah.
Oh, Berliner, yeah, gotcha. No, look, there's a lot of demand for the V8s at the moment, especially the SS stuff, but the value of the Berliners and the V6 models is generally in line with where you'd expect. I'm looking again at the same sort of price guide we generally use, and some of the sort of entry-level models are around the $10,000 mark, depending on how well looked after they've been and how many Ks they've done. If the car's in really good nick, then obviously it's worth asking a little bit more than that, but even though you can't get a Commodore anymore and it's a little bit tricky to find them, unfortunately the V6 stuff has kind of depreciated in line with the rest of the market in a way maybe the V8s haven't.
All right. Actually, that doesn't sound too bad, to be quite honest, because it's been a hell of a good car to me. And
I'm glad you've enjoyed it.
It's done 300,000, but that appearance-wise, and even the motor, you can't even hear it when it's idling.
No, they're fantastic cars, and it's a shame we don't make them here anymore.
Oh, isn't it just? Bob, thanks so much for calling in. We have got the phone lines open for just a few short moments if you'd like to ask Scott from carexpert.com.au a question. Got a couple of other messages here. Havel car, yes or no? That's from Tony.
Havel cars, very good value and to drive rapidly improving. If you can afford to go with a Kia or a Mazda or a more established brand, that's still the way that I would go personally, but for the money they offer a lot of value.
What is a Havel car? I've never heard of it.
So Havel is actually the parent brand for Tank that we were talking about before. They're part of GWM, which is one of the biggest car makers in China, and they're growing really rapidly in Australia. They're almost a top 10 brand here.
Ah, well, thank you very much. And that is a wrap today. We're going to go into the headlines. Appreciate that. And we can head to carexpert.com.au if you'd like to take a look at those stories that we spoke about earlier in the show. Scott, thanks for joining us.
Thanks very much, Jade. I'll speak to you soon.
Sounds good. Scott Colley there from carexpert.com.au. We're going to go in and get all today's headlines. Then coming up after the break, we're joined by actor John Wood. He's in town for his show called Mono. We've been talking about it a lot on the program. We've been giving away lots of tickets. Well, to tell us all about it, what it's about, and no, it's more than just 90 minutes, he's here to tell us all about it. Back soon.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
Good afternoon, I'm Michaela Kamarek. Voluntary assisted dying laws have come into effect in SA after decades of failed attempts. Retailers are playing down the latest sales figures, which reveal a sharp drop in December. Thousands of South Australians are taking advantage of fee-free courses offered at TAFE, and Football Australia is hoping to draw 82,000 fans for the Matildas World Cup opener against Ireland in July. Sunny this afternoon, 26, currently it's 23 degrees. More news at 4 o'clock and As It Happens on 5AA.
What's got Mike singing? Mike just got an energy-efficient heat pump installed by EcoVantage. Not only is it using nearly 80% less energy than his old hot water system and saving hundreds off his power bills, he got it for free. Thanks to federal and SA government incentives, you can get your own energy-efficient heat pump from just $0. Pump your energy bills down with EcoVantage. Visit ecovantage.com.au.
G'day, Graham Ross here. Sudden Impact for Lawns has always been my go-to. Now it's even better together with Populate. Sudden Impact for Lawns plus Populate is still an organic-based premium granular fertiliser, but now with the added benefits of billions of living beneficial microbes. Ideal for all types of lawns, trees, even hedges, and be amazed at the results. Sudden Impact for Lawns plus Populate. Available in all good garden centres, nurseries and retailers.
Steinborner Automotive in Gawler, Nuriutpa and Clare has always been well worth the trip, and now even more so with their 39th birthday sale. To celebrate, Steinborner has purchased over 400 certified vehicles, SUVs and 4x4s, and ripped $500,000 off normal prices across the range, with $1,500 trade-in bonus on all trade-ins. Plus great deals on new and demo Hyundai, Ford, Mitsubishis. Make the trip to one of Steinborner's 8 dealerships or visit steinborner.com.au.
Hi, Bronte Manuel from Toop and Toop. It's holiday season, but now's not the time to sit back if you're thinking of selling your home. The Adelaide property market continues to outperform the rest of the nation, and there's still a good opportunity to achieve a premium result for your home. Buyers aren't spending their break just eating turkey. With low stock levels, they're proactively trying to secure their next property. If you'd like to know how much your home might be worth in today's market, visit toop.com.au to find out more.
Sit down to the best schnitty in town and have the chance to win a Phil Hoffman $5,000 travel voucher. Yes, please. If you're hungry for a little getaway, head to the Birkenhead Tavern, the Albion, the Excelsior, the Lighthouse or the Sundowner in Whyalla. Order a schnitty and go in the draw to win a $5,000 travel voucher. Order a Hahn Super Dry with it and receive an extra entry. Order, eat, win. You just know it's a Barreau hotel. Some T's and C's apply.
My Living Outdoors, the people that build Adelaide's best decks, verandas and pergolas, can also install quality outdoor blinds in a wide range of colours and styles, including motorised blinds. As you'd expect, My Living Outdoors only install the best high-quality blinds made in Australia and made to last with long-term warranties and, of course, outstanding workmanship. And there's no hidden costs either. Enjoy the outdoors all year round with blinds from My Living Outdoors. Visit mylivingoutdoors.com.au.
$13.95. Adelaide's 5AA. This is Jade Robran.
Bit of fancy for you for a Tuesday afternoon. Welcome back to the show. It is 3:34 and coming up after 4 o'clock, it's the Sports Show with Timmy G and Rowey, and Timmy G joins us in the studio. G'day, buddy.
Hello, JG. Yes, lots of awards last night.
So many in the cricketing
Do you
world.
like an awards night?
No, I find them a bit boring.
David Warner doesn't either.
Why?
He didn't even want to go.
happened?
Didn't want to go.
Didn't
Got to the
he?
red carpet and they asked him and he said, "No, I don't even really want to be here."
Oh, go home.
Yeah.
Stop whinging, mate.
Well, that's right.
You
I'm
play
with you.
cricket all season and then you just got to rock up for one night.
Yeah.
That's it. Just give a little bit back.
I think if you're a guest, and I met somebody said, "Oh, you didn't go to the Best and Fairest." I'm happy not to go because I didn't play, and I think if you go with your mates, then you're going to have a good night with your mates, no dramas. But if you're just an outside guest,
No,
it's
that's
really
different.
just about the people
It's
who
about the
played and
team.
the partners and the families and that sort of thing. But I'm not really big on the awards nights. either, so I don't mind the fact. But if you're a teammate, I think you've got to be there to support your teammates. That's the way I look at it. So we'll have a little bit from that because our own Talia McGrath just cleaned up again. She was ICC T20 player, Australian T20 player of the year, and the rest of it. So we'll have a chat to her about her success. Matt Short, our own strikers. First strikers player to win the BBL Best Player. How's that?
Oh, good on him.
So
Good lad.
very nice to have that. But the sample draws dropped finally. So
finally, now is this later than normal?
It is, but to be fair, that AFL was a lot later than normal.
Okay.
And so it's just pushed everything back a bit. And as you know, they haven't quite done the second half of the year of where and when. But the big story out of it is, of course, the Neil Curley tribute game.
Love
so Knuckles
that.
is getting the tribute game, which is terrific, up there at Murray Bridge, and we'll have his lovely bride Barb on, so it'll be
beautiful.
Have a yarn to her and see what's going to be done.
You'll have to ask her if she can get back into her house at Walker Flat yet.
Oh yeah, of course, with all the flooding and
Yeah, she had to move out.
There, so just goes on, doesn't it? Too?
I know.
Yeah. So no, really big show tonight. Going to have fun.
Really?
You get on to your new guest.
Hey, I will.
He's a ripper.
He's
Big
a
fan.
superstar. Thank you, Timmy G. That is coming up after 4 o'clock, and we are live streaming, all thanks to Foodland Supermarket. So tune in because we've got a pretty special guest in the studio. Here's a clue. He starred in the hit show Blue Heelers. Audience fell in love with his character, Tom Croydon. Here he is.
What can I do for you, girlie? I'm just on my way to a job.
I'm not a girlie. I'm Constable Doyle.
Ah.
Got into town about half an hour ago, just checking in.
Tom Croydon.
Tom.
All right, Doyle. See you here in uniform, 8 o'clock tomorrow morning.
That's it?
Look, I've got one farmer impounding another farmer's bull because he damaged a fence, and I want to get over there before the shotguns come out, so...
Oh, sorry, Sergeant. Dad said to send his regards.
Who's Dad when he's at home?
Pat Doyle, Sergeant. You were stationed together once.
Oh, yeah. Pat Doyle. Doesn't like me. Never has.
Well, he must have been feeling in a bloody good mood when he said it. Sergeant.
John Wood joins us ahead of his comedy show coming to town called Mono. Great to have you in the studio. Welcome.
Thanks very much. Nice to be here.
Well, welcome to Adelaide. You've flown in from sunny Melbourne. We were just having a chat in the break that it's been very, very hot over there.
It's been extremely hot.
It is.
But I remember Adelaide being hotter than that, though, in the old days when I worked over here for a few years in the early 80s with Jim Sharman and Neil Armfield in the State Theatre Company when it was called Lighthouse.
Did you?
Yeah.
How long were you here for?
2 years with Lighthouse, and then I came back a few times to do various shows with people like John Gayden and yes, I was just saying to Max, the first time I came over to do Lulu, and the first room I was in was the green room, which we were in today, and we did the reading of Lulu. That's where I first met Judy Davis, and yeah, so
the rest is history.
Yeah.
Where'd you live? Where did you hang out? What are your memories of Adelaide?
Of Adelaide, when I came over with the family, when I came over by myself, I stayed with a guy named John Gelsthorpe and his wife, and they had a house at St Peter's. And John lives somewhere in North Adelaide now. And when we came over with the family for 2 years, we lived in Heathfield.
Beautiful.
Which is very nice, yeah.
And now you live in the beautiful Yarra Valley. And I was just about to tell you, I lived in Hillsville for about a year. You're from a beautiful area.
Yes, it's lovely. Hillsville's a lovely town. I lived there for a few years as well, when my wife threw me out.
Well, we won't go down that line, but I want to go down.
No.
It's probably very conducive to writing, and you've just you've mentioned in the break that you're writing a TV show, and you've injured your elbow playing the congos. What's that all about?
Oh, the congas are for a rock and roll show. And I've just, I've strained all the tendons in my hand trying to bang the thing so hard, and Travelled up into my elbow. It's like having tennis elbow. It's shocking.
Oh, well, if there's any doctors out there that want to call in and fix, John needs some help. He can't shake anyone's hand.
No, that's all right. It's I've got really bad rheumatoid arthritis anyway, so I have difficulty doing all sorts of things. But,
So the Congo's probably not on the list of the things that you should be doing.
No, well, I didn't realise that's what I'd be doing. I thought I'd be playing a bit of guitar in the background, and but there you go.
Oh, whoopsie daisy. Let's talk mono. We've been giving away lots of tickets, and we've heard the advertisement, and it says, and what's it about? 90 minutes. Okay, it's got to be. Tell us, what is it about?
Well, it's 3 performers doing 3 performances each. It's myself, Max Gillies, and Emily Tahini in this version. We've done it a couple of times before, Max and I. We did it late last year with, like Augusty, September, I think, up in Queensland with Nolene Brown.
Yes.
And we did it about 6 months before that in Western New South Wales with Jean Kitson.
Oh, love
And so
Jean.
we've got Emily Tahini now, who's an Adelaide girl. And,
Very funny.
And, yeah, she's wonderful on Sean McAuliffe's show. She's fantastic.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen her do anything yet, so but I'm sure she's fantastic in our show as well.
It's been travelling for quite some time. Does it evolve? It's monologues, isn't it? It's a show made up of many monologues. 9
monologues and one little sketch at the end of the show where we all work together for the only time. And Emily plays the first sketch is a headmistress addressing a girls' school, and the girls are quite unruly.
Oh.
Then my first character is a bush poet who thinks he's pretty shit hot, but he's really just shit. And then Max comes on and shows the audience how the orchestra works, being a conductor. And he's as usual with Max, he's sensational. And then Emily comes back as a new wave person that sells medicine that probably fixes tennis elbow.
You have to get her to give you some of the good
and
stuff.
My next character is an auctioneer, a British auctioneer auctioning off the property of the Montmorency family, the Montmorency mansions.
Yeah, right.
And then Max is a minister who's in a bit of trouble with his wife, and then Emily's character is the mother of the bride who gets a bit
that's
pissed,
it, sloshy, yeah.
a bit sloshed, and then my last character is a policeman who looks a lot like Tom Croydon.
Oh, there you go.
He's giving evidence at a trial, and he reads it from his notebook, and he reads it very badly. And it's hysterically funny. It's a very funny sketch. And then Max's last monologue is of a man in an art gallery who comes across a painting of an old flame.
Oh.
And it's really beautiful, and he does it beautifully, and it's really, I mean, for my money, it's the best piece in it, but people reckon the policeman's pretty good too, so that's all right.
I'm sure he is.
It's a lot of fun,
Yeah, I was going to ask you, have you been having a lot of fun doing it?
Oh yeah, it's great for performing is for me, being on stage is sort of brings me back to life. Like it's where I feel most alive on stage.
Why's
and
that?
It's nice to be back on stage. Well, it will be nice. And it's nice to be back in Adelaide. Like I have a very fond memories of working here with the Lighthouse Company, and I'd stopped acting at that point, and Jim asked me to come over and do Lulu with Judy Davis, and then I came over to be part of the Lighthouse Company, which was 12 actors that included Gillian Jones and Geoffrey Rush and myself and Kerry Walker, Peter Cummins. It was, you know, like I did some of the best work I've ever done, and that led entirely to Rafferty's Rules, which producers in Sydney remembered that I was alive, and I got Rafferty's, which was fantastic. You know, a great show, I think, and quite a groundbreaking piece. You know, it was
Very
terrific.
much so.
Mm.
I want to quickly touch on Home to Roost. Have you finished writing that yet?
I've finished a 1 hour version, an hour episodes, and we're just rejigging it and making it into half-hour episodes. So we've written the first two. I've been working on it. Well, I started working on it by myself, but then I sort of got Lyndon Wilkinson involved, who's, she's a much more experienced and better writer than I am, and so we've done the first 2 half hours, which we had a reading of with, fantastic cast, Max, Nolene Brown, Jean Kitson, Lisa McCune.
Oh, wow.
It's...
All-star cast.
Yeah, it's a very...
What's the storyline?
Sorry? It's an idea I've been carting around for about 30 years. And I originally wrote it with people in mind that I knew back in those days, Frank Thring and Bob Hornery and people like that, who were great comic actors. And I started writing it this time with people like Terry Norris in mind. But Terry's a bit frail now, and he's 95 or something, and
golly,
so he's not available to do it. And the producers that we've got on board thought that I should play the character anyway, because he's been a policeman, but it's set in a retirement village for actors, basically. And
brilliant!
Well, it's there was there is a place in Melbourne called Rushall Park, which was set up by George Coppin, and they were originally described as almshouses for decayed actors.
Oh,
and
nice.
George Coppin was an actor-manager. He came over here for several years too, in the 19th century, and he ran most of the theatre companies in Melbourne, and Geelong and Adelaide and various other places, and he was obviously a pretty good guy. He decided to look after the people that had worked for him for so long and set up almshouses for decayed actors. And I've just run with that idea of the place being populated by actors, and Rushall Park has many actors there. Mari Trevor, who used to be a producer on Cop Shop, and whose last job was a job on Blue Heelers. She passed away there, 20 years ago, and Geoffrey Blaney lives there at the moment. So it's an amazing place, and yeah.
Sounds fascinating.
Well, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
the characters are a lot of fun, and
great cast.
Yeah. So we've Shane Porteous was in it as well. He's one of the characters in the show, and he was involved in the reading and wants to be involved in it if it goes ahead, and I certainly want him to be involved. So.
Brilliant.
Yeah, it's great.
Well, that's in the future, but for now, you are here for Mono. It is on at the Dunstan Playhouse at the Adelaide Festival Centre. Kicks off on Wednesday, the 1st of Feb, so tomorrow, and runs until Sunday, the 5th of Feb, so just a few short days.
Yes, it's too short, unfortunately, but...
Well, do you get to go out and about and enjoy Adelaide, or just work?
Well, I certainly... I haven't so far. We arrived and we couldn't get into our hotel, so...
oh, that's annoying.
I was hoping to get in there and have a shave and a shower, but
You need to get to the chemist, get some Tiger Balm, rub it in that elbow of
Tiger
yours.
Balm, you reckon?
Tiger
Yeah.
Balm, yes.
Uh-huh.
It'll burn, but that's apparently what the tennis players use. Apparently. That's what a
Well,
little birdie told me.
I
Thanks so
wouldn't-
much for coming in.
It's a pleasure. Nice
And
to meet you.
you have been very, very kind. You've got a double pass to see Mono. So call the number. What's your favourite number?
I don't know.
1 to 10.
1 to 10. Call the number. Call and give the number 7.
Brilliant. Lucky number 7, 8223 0055. So Mono is on tomorrow until Sunday the 5th of Feb, Dunstan Playhouse, Adelaide Festival Theatre. Call in now and, try and get along because it is very, very funny show starring John Wood, Emily Tahini and Max Gillies. We'll be back soon.
Specsavers is the name you trust for experienced eye care. But did you know that we can also care for your hearing? Hi, I'm Tom, a dedicated audiology professional from Specsavers, and we're here to provide high-quality hearing care at a price you can afford. We take the time to understand your needs and help you choose from a range of latest technology hearing aids that fit your lifestyle and budget. So to see and hear should have gone to Specsavers. Visit specsavers.com.au/hearing.
I'm Kathy Nagel, Chief Executive of Western Hospital Henley Beach. Chronic diseases may cause heart and vascular conditions that, left untreated, can cost you your life. Western Hospital offers a wide range of cardiology and vascular interventions which may prevent disease and could help prolong your life. Interventions range from cardiovascular health checks to diagnostic interventions like angiogram and stenting. For more information, visit westernhospital.com.au or phone 8159 1200 to arrange a referral.
Bupa helps prepare more South Australians for life's ups and downs than any other health insurer. Search Bupa, CanStar's outstanding value health insurance for 2022. Bupa, because life happens.
At Terrain Tamer, we've tried to take all the hard work out of four-wheel driving, so you can be an expert as well as an enthusiast. Our parts interpreters talk fluent four-wheel drive because we're talking with 40 years' experience. We've got all the four-wheel drive parts and accessories that you'll ever need, so you can toss them in the back for cheap insurance. When you're miles from the closest mechanic, you'll appreciate that advice. Terrain Tamer, we talk fluent four-wheel drive.
The passing of someone close places unique stress on family and friends. At this time, Farrell and O'Neill Funerals are here to provide reassurance and peace of mind. Farrell and O'Neill offer creative guidance and advice to tailor a service that best honours your loved one. Whether a large gathering or a small, intimate service, Farrell and O'Neill share their generations of experience in tailoring a unique and meaningful farewell. Proudly SA family owned and operated, because it's personal.
G'day, it's Eddie May from NRG Solar. More and more South Australians are taking control of their energy bills with solar and battery storage. In fact, Australians are taking up battery storage in record numbers because they're sick of rising power bills and being locked into a system where someone else calls the shots. The other huge bonus of going with NRG Solar and battery storage is that you'll be protected from blackouts with an uninterrupted power supply. Take control. Visit nrgsolar.com.au.
Ranella Mazda 2022 plate clearance is on now. Incredible deals across the entire range and vehicles in stock ready for immediate delivery. Get in quick and don't miss the 2022 plate clearance. Only at Ranella Mazda.
LBD 322736.
Hi, Kurt Pengilly from InXS here, and I'm inviting you to join me in saving the sight of 300,000 Australians living with glaucoma by taking up the 7 Sights Challenge this March. Fun and easy. Simply find, snap and share 7 awesome sites in your neighbourhood and you'll be raising funds to take glaucoma out of the picture. That's 7 Sights Challenge. Sign up today at 7sites.org.au.
Jade Robran on 1395, Adelaide's 5AA.
Welcome back to the program. It is about 5 minutes to 4 o'clock. Coming up after 4 o'clock is a sports show with Timmy G and Rowey. We're live streaming, all thanks to Foodland Supermarkets.
Stars don't disappear, they keep blazing, even when the night is over, I will still be here. Stargate.
stargazers will get a chance to see a green comet for the first time in 50,000 years this week. Joining us is Dr. Brad Tucker, astrophysicist from the Australian National Uni. Dr.
How's it
Brad
going?
Tucker, great to have you. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm excellent. This sounds pretty cool.
It is. So it's going to be a special treat in our evening sky. And as you said, this comet. And so comets are kind of these leftover bits of the solar system from the far edges, in fact, way beyond Pluto. And so they're so far away, they turn into these frozen chunks of rock and ice. They're kind of like dirty snowballs. And occasionally they get bumped and make a trip into our solar system, which this one is doing. And it's going to be doing its close approach to Earth Thursday morning, our time.
So when is the best time and best vantage points, and is it safe just to stare up at it?
Yeah, so even though the close point is on Thursday, for us in the southern parts of Australia, we're going to have to wait a few more days. So from Adelaide, you can start seeing it from the 6th of February. So you want to look at the 6th of February, anytime from there, about 9 p.m. At about 9 p.m. or so, look towards the north. It's going to be near the constellation Orion. So sometimes we call it the saucepan. So look towards the north. You want a clear point to the north from about 9 p.m., and you'll be able to see it. And yes, it is completely safe to look at. Now, we're not quite sure how bright it's going to be. So we think it should be visible to the naked eye, but it's going to be probably borderline. Comets are, well, they're kind of like cats. They're a bit hard to predict what they're going to do. So we're not really that sure. Now, if you have a pair of binoculars, it will make it look spectacular. And when you see it, it's going to be green because these comets turn this beautiful green color, and that's because the frozen carbon ice starts to turn into gas and produces those beautiful tails. So anytime from the 6th, and if you're really eager, you can wait on the 11th, because on the 11th, the comet's going to be smack dab right next to Mars in the evening sky. So you can look at the beautiful red planet and a green comet right next door.
It sounds amazing. And those in the Northern Hemisphere have seen it in recent days. Was it bright? What have they reported?
So a lot of people have seen a beautiful tail. So some people have been able to see the naked eye, and people looking through a telescope or binoculars have seen a beautiful, rich green tail, which I think is always quite nice. And so a lot of people have been enjoying it, and it's been getting brighter and brighter as it gets closest to the Earth. So on Thursday, when it passes by Earth, it's going to be a mere 42 million kilometers away, which, it's not that close. But on the scale of things, traveling from tens of billions of kilometers away, it's still relatively nearby. And so it's still only getting brighter right now.
All right, Thursday morning in the diary. Thank you, Dr. Brad Tucker.
No worries.
Have a great afternoon. The sports show is up next. Thanks for joining us today. Speak to you tomorrow.
Every day, Respirico Scooter World helps South Australians to sleep better, breathe easier and stay mobile. For decades, the team behind Respirico Scooter World have made the world a more accessible place. From CPAP machines and oxygen equipment to scooters, Respirico Scooter World helps improve accessibility and quality of life. If something's up with your sleep or you want to get around easier, visit Respirico Scooter World or request a mobile visit. For all your sleep, respiratory and mobility needs, respirico.com.au.
Hello, I'm Lynn Andrews. For over 50 years, we have specialised in commercial and residential property management. But above all, we specialise